This is our teacup, and there are several ways we could approach this. One of which would be to entirely lift the teacup out of a pale background, or another way is to do some masking over some of the whitest areas, or actually just the whole cup and saucer, and then put the background in. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So here's the drawing. I think I'll mask all of the china parts of the teacup and leave the spoon and the tea not masked, and then put in the background. But first, I think I'll lighten the drawing with the alcohol and cotton ball. For the teacup, I'm going to do a solid ink wash of 3 colors: shell pink, cloudy blue, and lemonade, and probably drop a little bit of alcohol in it. This one I'm going to hold the paper vertically as I drop the ink. We've got a lot of white spots. I'll use this cotton swab to kind of blend them in. So if we do this while the ink is wet, it will fill in. And I'm going to let it dry vertically. So this is our teacup with the dried masking fluid. And I'm going to take off the masking fluid right now. So even though our cup is white, there are certainly shadows in it. And I'm going to start with the Cool Perry. It's a good low commitment place to start. Make sure I got enough of it off so it doesn't try to jump out of the cup. I'm going to add in the tea and the spoon, which are both in the same color range. And this is some ginger, and I'll use it with some honeycomb. Our value is still light, but just wanted to make sure we didn't go too far. This is the honeycomb for the spoon. And there's some lights in there as well, but we'll be lifting those back out. This is some teak wood for some darker values. There is a pale gold rim around the teacup, and I'm going to put that in with honeycomb. And it's also around the plate. In the photograph, we don't see it everywhere, so I'm just going to put it in where I see it. And if we need to add it in later, there's some highlights in the spoon. And I'm just going to lift a little bit here. This is pink sherbet. I'm going to start with the pink flowers. And I think I'll just put in the palest color first. I've got another rose here in the saucer. This is the wild plum. It's going to be bright, but we'll use it to add in the darker parts of the pink flowers. Added a drop of poppy field into the wild plum. That's quite a bit redder. But my plan is to lift this back out. This is the pointy swab with alcohol. Use the Coolperry for the purple flowers. And this is meadow for the leaves. This is the kind of the teak wood with alcohol for the shadow underneath the cup. This is more of the red. This is the lettuce to add another color into our leaves. This is the purple twilight. We've got some darker spots in our purple flowers. This is the slate. We have just some darker shadows than the Coolperry. Go back and look at the spoon a little more. This is the teak wood. And the ginger. This is the teak wood. I think our tea is about to become coffee. Go back and do a tiny bit of lifting again in the spoon. Our teacup is sitting on a napkin, and I'm going to lift it out. This side is fine. It's a yellow napkin with white highlights, but it's going to get more confusing as we come across to the blue side. I'm going to try the slate for the shadow. This shadow is too strong. This is some cranberry. So I think I would like to add a napkin. And I think the color that would work best for both the blue and the yellow here is green. So I'm going to just drop it in. I'm gonna add the napkin in the back here and then make that a little bit more attractive. We have a couple options for making it more attractive. We could add more citrus, or we could add alcohol, or we could just put a texture on it. I think I'm going to add alcohol. Just try not to make a mess. We need to straighten up the side so that it matches. With the green ink in here, we can now do a little bit of lifting to add the little bit of pattern that's in the napkin. And then just a tiny bit of lifting here to remove that errant green ink. And we can put back in the shadow now that we have a better color to put in the shadow with. I want to lighten the spoon a little bit. And just a little bit more. So this is as far as I can go with just using the brush and bottled ink. And if I were just using the brush and bottled ink, I think I would stop here and be happy. But since I have the markers and the pens, I think I'm going to go ahead and go the next step into adding more detail and improving the contrast in some of these areas and adding more dimension. I'm starting with the cup, and this is kind of a gray marker, and I'm going to add some slightly darker values. And I'm going to put the ink on with the marker and then kind of drag the Q-tip through it to soften the line. That marker really wasn't much darker than what I already had. So this is a slightly darker one. So this is the pointy swab. We'll do our softening this way. This is a golden brown marker. And this is some ginger bottled ink. There's some more shading along this edge of the cup. So in the flowers, there's some definite darker areas. This is a pretty bright pink red color, but I don't really like many of the choices I have. This is a very pale color. This is kind of a lavender color. And a darker purple. And soften that down with a lighter lavender. And this is some green for the leaves. And this is a lighter green color. And I'll do the same down in the saucer. This is a brown marker. I'm going to add some darker values into the spoon. And the same color that was in the tea or coffee. This is a lighter golden shade. This is the cotton swab with some alcohol. And a drop of honeycomb. And the pale marker to put back in these lights. This is the sepia pen. And the white pen. So at this point I need to take a look at the napkin, and this is a makeup sponge. I'm going to just tear it up into smaller pieces and try some texture on it. This is a little challenging as I'm getting some bigger spots as well as the texture. Okay, that broke up the napkin a little bit more. I think I need to look a little bit under here and then we might be done. This is the cotton swab and alcohol. I'm going to add a little bit of this darker green and then pull it back off, but try to do some of the shading under here. I'd also like to use the white pen on some of the edge of the saucer.